For episode one of this brand new podcast, I'm going to be going over the first 13 years of my life, including the death of my mother, my brother, and the incarceration of my father, how it was all my fault, but also how it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. But, see, you, the person watching this right now, why should you care? I want you to ask yourself that question. Why should you care? Because after all, nobody does. Especially if you're a man, nobody cares about your problems. So for me specifically right now, what you're doing is you're watching a video of some random 20-year-old kid who's going to tell you pretty much almost the sob story, or what you think is going to be a sob story. And you have to ask yourself, why am I watching this video? What do I gain from this video? Well, what you're going to gain is a new mindset. And at the end of this video, you could choose to either adopt it or not. But let's be honest, you have enough bills to pay and you have enough problems within your own life to really care about somebody else's story. But luckily for you, this is not just going to be any ordinary story. In this story, I'm going to explain the mindset that got me through the struggles and hardships. Also, you probably clicked on this video thinking I was going to explain how I killed my mom and my brother due to the title of this video, when in reality, actually, what I'm about to say is going to be much worse. And by the time you're done watching this video, you're going to wish that that's what I would have said, because it would have been an easier pill to swallow. And truth be told, my goal with every one of these episodes is for you, the person watching, to learn something new. Because after all, who cares about me? You know? If I say my mom died, my brother died, boo-hoo, who cares? You're a man, grow up, get over it. And also, take this even a step further, if we're being realistic, I don't even have a following on YouTube. So this video is more than likely to go nowhere with 0 viewers, nobody watches it, nobody cares, because I don't even have a following. I'm pretty much a nobody as far as YouTube or social media goes. But if you're still watching this and I've been able to retain your attention this far, then clearly I have something you're interested in hearing. So I would highly recommend you stay, and by the end of the video, you won't regret that. Now, I'm going to give a fair disclaimer that one, and this goes for the entire podcast, or really any of my videos, but one, this video is definitely not directed towards women, it's directed towards men. And two, it's directed towards men who are trying to be the best version of themselves. So what's the subject for this video? The subject is, how can you achieve the highest level of self-accountability? Now, I believe you can achieve the highest level of self-accountability by believing that everything that's ever happened to you is your fault. Now, I first heard this saying, I didn't come up with that saying, but I don't know who said it, but I first heard that when I was in high school, and I never really took it seriously enough. Even though I believed it, I never took it seriously. I never cared. But now more recently, I heard Andrew Tate say it in an interview. Then I started to actually self-analyze and think about my life. And I was like, okay, here, yeah, it was my fault. That was my fault. This was my fault. But how could this be my fault? How could that be my fault? Those weren't even the consequences of my own actions. Those were the consequences of other people's actions that fell onto me. Some that was nobody's choice. Some that happened even before I was born. But I started thinking of all the evil that ever happened to me, and I started trying really hard to try to blame it on myself. And with that being said, let me transition into the first 13 years of my life, and I'll make it brief. Now, with the first 13 years of my life, starting with before I even existed, right? So before I even existed, this is a year before I'm born, my brother passes away because he was a miscarriage. This is 2002. Mark Anthony Berrigan Jr., rest in peace. Then when I'm around 6 to 12 months old, that's when my father is incarcerated. I don't really know how much time he was sentenced to. All I know is he doesn't get released until I'm 13 years old. And now at this point, I'm with my mom, and my mom and my dad end up separating. And now when I'm about 5 or so, that's when my stepdad comes into my life. And during that time, I did experience some evil. I just don't know if I want to be very specific with my words, because I don't know if I want to go public with the things that I saw yet. I'm not really sure. But I did see some things that no kid should ever have to go through. And then when I'm 7 years old, that's when my mom passes away from colon cancer. And once that happens, then I go to live with my grandma. And it's almost funny because I remember when my mom was still alive. Well, first let me clarify that anything that ever happened to me before my mom passed away, I don't remember my life very vividly. It's very vague. Everything that happened after, I remember very vividly in high definition. So it's very strange. Other people tell me they remember things from when they're 4 or 5. I don't remember much. And I remember when my mom was still alive that there was some lady that I don't know who came to me and told me, she was trying to explain to me how like my mom was sick. And I just remember after that, I just went to go play Mario on my DS because I didn't understand. You know, at that age, you don't understand. And then I remember when I went to go move with my grandma, I was also living with my little cousin. And I remember I told her, we kind of got happy because I told her how, you know, I'm going to be living there forever now, because I would always go visit, but then I was living there forever. And so we kind of got happy over that, you know. And then fast forward to when I'm 13, that's when my dad gets released. But anyways, that's enough for my life story. I'll continue telling my story in, you know, later episodes, and just kind of always bringing them back to a message and, you know, a moral, something you could take away from this video. So it was my fault because, you know, okay, my brother was a miscarriage. Mom passed away from cancer. My dad's doing 13 years in prison and I'm just a little boy. But me knowing myself, I know if I were given them, I'd be taking them for granted right now as we speak, and being ungrateful for them. I would definitely be ungrateful for them, just knowing the type of person I am. So God, pretty much to punish me, took those people away from me before it even happened. And he had to make sure that I become a strong man, and he was willing to put me through anything to make sure that I become that strong man. And he was successful in that. And it's honestly very painful to even think of something so absurd like saying that the death of those people is my fault. But it definitely pushes me to be the best version of myself. It's the mindset that's going to make me the best possible person. It's going to give me the advantage amongst other people because it's going to give me a stronger mindset. And that's the mindset that I'm willing to adopt. But it was also the death of those two people and the incarceration of my father is some of the best things that could have ever happened to me, as much as it hurts to say that, because they made me into a man. They made me the person that I am today. And you just can't recreate that. And it pushes me to be a better person and to be, for example, you know, now I know to not take things for granted and be grateful for the things that I do have. Because, for example, and I think this is where I'll end the video, I honestly, I wouldn't even say I had a hard life. Honestly, I don't think I would say I had a hard life. I've had it pretty easy. I had 3 meals a day my entire life, always had electricity, water. Okay, granted, yeah, sometimes sometimes the electricity went out. Sometimes, okay, maybe we're eating beans and rice all day, but who cares? But let me tie this back to you watching the video. Some of you watching this video have been through much worse than I have, right? Probably watching me, looking at me like I'm a joke right now because you've been through worse and you just look at me like I'm a little kid, and that's cool. Some of you watching this haven't been through anything. But there's a small demographic of you watching this right now who haven't been through anything in your life, yet a very traumatizing day awaits you. So when you're done watching this video today, I want you to ask yourself this, if you're a part of that demographic. Are you ready for that day? Because I know I was not. I definitely wasn't. So in the next episode, I'll reveal the answer to those questions. And if this is your first time seeing me and, you know, you kind of like my style, you like how I articulate myself, and you learn something new. If you learned something new, I would greatly appreciate it if you could maybe share this video, like this video, and also subscribe. Be expecting more content like this. But anyways, for those of you who are watching who are struggling, maybe in your life, in whatever, you know, your mom passed away, your dad passed away, I wish you all the best of luck. And I'm gonna strive to give advice to those type of people. Even though I may be only 20 years old, that's okay, because I'm sure this video alone probably left a lot of people starstruck how I could take responsibility for the death of my own mother and the death of my own brother. But see, I'm willing to adopt the mindset that's going to make me the strongest person in my bloodline. And people who look at me like I'm a joke, or maybe look at that like it's a joke, and it's all good, you know. But anyways, that's enough rambling. Have a good day. I got to go to work right now, and God bless you all.